Okay, this is the Urban Fruit Collective. We're interested in developing a virtual collection. A very quick rundown on the big picture, although we haven't actually drawn one. The big picture is that we have got a crisis with climate change, with peak oil. We aren't going to have the ability in the future to fly apples in from Chile, from South Africa, from New Zealand. We need to grow our own, and we can do that. And actually already in the city we are growing a lot of our own apples. We need to do that for the longer term. In the short term, there are people in Coventry currently who go to bed at night hungry, and there are lots of charities in the city that help plug that gap and support those people. And already the Urban Fruit Collective are part of that process, and we feed in a little bit to that big jigsaw, that wonderful work that they're doing already. There's two things, there's future hunger and there's current hunger, and we need to solve both issues really. That's the big picture. The little picture, which is about the Urban Fruit Collective itself, is that, there are people in the city, and we've come across a lot of them in just our little bit in Earlsdon. There are people in the city who have these fantastic big fruit trees which are dripping, not this year so much, but dripping with fruit, and they can't do anything with them. And quite often they drip with fruit, and then the fruit drops and it rots, and it goes to waste completely. So we want to connect those people with the people who can put that fruit to good use. Some of those people are feeding hungry families. Some of those people are just ordinary members of the community. We have a table outside the cooperative, the co-op in Earlsdon, where we just give it away to whomever is there. And the smiles that produces is wonderful just on its own. And there are also people who take the worst of the fruit, and we turn some into cider, don't tell me mum, this year. But some other people also turn it into chutneys, which they then sell, and it sustains either their family in terms of income, but then they give a proportion of that profit to a charity, and we don't specify who that should be, that's of their choice. So we want to connect all those people up. The idea that we're hoping to be able to develop from today is the idea of the virtual orchard, the virtual community orchard in Coventry. And what this would do, what we want to do, and I can't do this because I just don't have the skills, is to map the existing fruit trees that we have in the city. So those fruit trees that people would happily volunteer to our project, we want to map those, see where they are in the city. We want to be able to nominate spaces, and this is where this is such a great forum, because we know that community payback want to clear spaces. And what do you do with those spaces afterwards? Well, we could plant some fruit trees on there, but we could also get people to nominate other places, like bits of public park, wherever it is that's appropriate, and we can do it for fruit tree planting. And they will be publicly owned and publicly harvested, and if you're down the park with your kids and you want an apple, you can go and take one, because it's for us, for the community. So we want to be able to do that. We want to map existing trees, we want to nominate spaces via the internet for new trees. We want to nominate distribution places, whether that's shops that are going to host a trolley full of apples that people can come and select, or whether that is charities like the food bank or whomever else who can use those apples to good effect, or that fruit to good effect, or whether it is other worthy causes. So, for example, the people that can make chutney and use damaged fruit in that way, or schools that want to encourage people to use fresh food at home, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, providing it's for the community. And we want to, and through that we can hook up with other projects. Again, we've heard a bit about them. People like Cook and Eat, we kind of almost got there this year with connecting with them to give them our fruit. And we already deal with a Green Garden Cafe who train people with the skills that they need to participate in paid employment. Fabulous, another fabulous Coventry group of people. We also need to be able to use the internet for recruiting volunteers, whether that's people volunteering their trees, or people volunteering their time, or people who would just happily take the apples from where they're picked to where they're going to be used. Using the internet in that way would just mean that it can be so much more dynamic and cover such a big space in Coventry. 30 seconds. I've been told to hurry up by my son, I'm talking too much. Crowdsourcing, we're looking, one of the things that is wonderful about the internet is how it just engages people. Fruit trees only need really seeing to at a certain point in the year, but using crowdsourcing we can, as a community, keep an eye on those trees, make sure that they're okay, see when they're blossoming, share the information about when they're ready to harvest.
Oh, that's 5 minutes.
Gosh. And we need some help to do that. So we need some help. So we need that. We want to build a web platform and we need to do that. Thank you.